Wow, Joanne Taylor Shaw. You can see why Dave Stewart was taken by her. I mean, at 16, she must have been a standout. She's an attractive young lady and has a great voice, which you didn't hear on this track, but you can tell she has the chops on that guitar. And I mentioned that she's not as young as I thought she was. Of course, I'm not as young as I thought I was years ago, a few days ago either. We're all getting older, but she hit 30 this year. So she's exactly 30 years younger than myself. And I would love to see her in person. She's just a great guitar player. And once again, we'll play some tracks eventually with her singing, which I think you'll enjoy. Well, we're going to stay on that side of the Atlantic for another band. One of my favorite bands, one of the bands that turned my head as a little kid. And when I mean as a little kid, I probably was 9, 10. Um, this band had some of the greatest guitar players go through it of all time. And what I mean by that is they started off with a gentleman who I cannot think of his name right now. And be honest with you, he's not quite as famous, but their first replacement guitar player was Eric Clapton, no slacker, followed by Jeff Beck, who was on this track. And then later on, they would have Jimmy Page take Jeff Beck's place. First, he started off as the bass player, and then they had two guitar players, and then Jeff left and went on to his solo career. And of course, at one point when the Yardbirds were falling apart, he regrouped them, Jimmy Page did, and they became what is known as Led Zeppelin. But we're going back to the days when Jeff Beck was lead guitar player, and this is an old standard song. Goes back quite a ways. Several people have covered it, but this version was the first version I ever heard, and it's The Train Kept a Rollin'.
couldn't let it go. Get along, sweet little woman, get along. Oh, right around the tree, get it rolling all night.
Yardbirds. Like I said, a favorite of mine. Love that band. As a matter of fact, they continue to tour under the guidance of their drummer, who's been with them for years, Jim McCarty. I saw them in Pocahontas State Park in Chesterfield County, Virginia, a few years ago, and I actually got to meet him briefly. He's actually a fan of my the band, I should say, is a fan of my Facebook page, and I'm going to give you that right now. That is www.facebook.com/wityh. But they were great. Even with all new members except for Jim, they had a great sound, and they were covering those old classic tunes. It was wonderful. I was in heaven. Well, going to have to cut this a little short, like I said today. So I've got two more songs for you. Once again, this is wityh Blues from KBLP. I'm your host, Cousin Dave, and going to go with one of my favorite bluesmen of all time. The influence that Muddy Waters had on not only blues but rock and roll is immense. His band actually became how do I put it? He came up with the setup for most rock and roll bands in the fact that they had a rhythm guitar player, a lead guitar player, a drummer, and a bass player originally. And he was also instrumental in the fact that when they were playing, the crowd was so loud they had to make a difference. So they started playing electric instruments, and that, of course, is the basis of rock and roll. And also, it changed the blues from that Delta sound to the electric blues sound. So we owe Muddy so much, but I love the man's voice. I love his sound, and right now he's singing about his landlady. This is Landlady from Muddy Waters.
All last night, man, I laid in my bedroom alone. Rolling and tumbling, just me and myself alone. The landlady said I'll call. I was too evil to answer the phone. Since you've been gone, oh man, how my poor heart burns. Since you went away, left me, man, how my poor heart burns. You don't come back to me, I believe my body will ruin. Come and go with me. Down on my knees begging, please come and go with me. I want to take you to a place where we long to.
That was Muddy Waters with Landlady. And I appreciate you joining me this morning, Tuesday morning. for some blues on Why the Blues from KBLP. Once again, I'm your cousin Dave, and unfortunately, I'm making this a shorter session or episode today because I've got to go to the capital city of Virginia, Richmond, to have a little dental work. Nothing big deal, but something done, and I'm going to have it taken care of this morning. And since I'm leaving you in a couple seconds, I figure I'd leave you with a song, a blues band from Richmond, Virginia. I don't have a lot of information on them, but I love the album they put out a few years ago. And this is the title song from that album. And I'm leaving you with a can of gas and a match. Be careful with that. Once again, this is your cousin Dave, and this is Why the Blues from KBLP. And I appreciate once again you joining me this morning. And I hope you have a great day. Take care of yourselves. And I know, as I always like to tell you, do some random acts of kindness. There are people out there that may need a helping hand or something to give them to smile about. Life is tough out there sometimes, and we need to be good to each other. So try to be good to each other out there, guys. Take care.